smiles from a very proud Bermudian who wins the title, defends her title with maximum points, 5,200, her 6th win of the season.
Sears is Bermuda's largest home appliance store with over 200 appliances in our showroom. We have refrigerators and freezers, gas ovens and electric ranges, washers and dryers. Sears has a wide selection of craftsman's tools and accessories. Beautify your home with our lawn and garden tools. We have everything you need for outdoor entertaining. Located at 41 Victoria Street, Sears is open Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Sears, reliable delivery, quality service, and everyday low prices.
You're watching Bermuda Tonight. It's Friday, March the 1st, 2019. I'm Diane Brewer, and thank you for joining us. The opposition's reply to the budget statement delivered in the House of Assembly by MP Patricia Gordon Pamplin. The response was prepared by Shadow Finance Minister Nick Kemp, who sat down with our Gary Moreno to talk about the statement, a statement in which the opposition accused the ruling PLP of mismanagement of projects and operational overspending in the past, but which continues to haunt us up to today.
If you look especially at the period from 2006 to 2010, it's almost double the amount of, for example, capital expenditure compared to the 5 years before and the 2 5-year periods after that, including the projection up until 2020. So if you look at the first layer of deficit, or the operational deficit, for lack of a better word, which is kind of the general day-to-day running of the government, it moved a somewhat modest deficit position into a massive $250,000 deficit. If you compare, and there's a lot of noise made about how much was spent on the America's Cup, but even in the year of the America's Cup, the total government capital expenditure spend was $77 million. Now, obviously, the spending for the Cup happened over kind of 3 years. But if you compare that 77 high point to the high points during 2006 to 2010, the difference is really shocking.
Now, that difference, how do you see that impacting the economy?
Well, the effect of the debt that was created during times of plenty in Bermuda, when there really was there should have been no reasonable expectation for debts to be created when government's getting a raise every year. You know, if you get a raise every year and you somehow manage to outspend that, it's a clear sign of spendthriftness, or rather a complete lack of fiscal prudence. So the effect of that we feel today is that we're paying north of $100 million a year in interest on this debt. And the way the interest that government has works that's different than a mortgage is you're not paying down any principal on it. All of the principal's paid off as a lump sum or refinanced when it's due at some time in the future. But so just by meeting our payments, we're not making the future burden any less. It's just a can that'll be perpetually kicked down the road. The more than $100 million a year that's leaving our economy to pay interest on this debt is fighting with the other services that governments need to provide, such as education, support for seniors, et cetera, roads. If you look at the debt spend in the context of some of our other large ministries, it's right up there. All of our kind of biggest ministries are in that mid-$100 million a year range. You could almost spend double on education what we could right now if we didn't have that huge interest burden hanging around our neck.
One of the things that you spoke of, as well as you mentioned education, is the setting up of an independent educational authority. Mm-hmm. Why?
Well, because if you look at the Hopkins report, there was a number of key items that were identified that need to fix education. And one of the main ones was the strategic management and the overly complex kind of management structure between boards and commissioners and directors and PSs. It's a little bit of a mess there. You also add to it the fact that short-term political cycles can drastically move the direction of a very large organization. And we feel that an education authority will remove that mid to short-term changes, the political element of it, and seeing as we've had the same revitalization of tourism with the tourism authority, we believe we can achieve similar results with an independent education authority.
Now, increasing the amount of capital to invest in the local economy, but it seems to be more focused on immigration matters.
Well, it speaks to the 60-40 rule, and it's been kind of loosely talked about for years, but without any kind of clear redefining. The ministers had the discretion to provide exemptions for a long time, but it requires someone to be able to go and apply for it, and usually that's only available to larger companies who, will hire a lawyer and help present the case. And what we're referring to here is redefining the 60 category to any resident. So not just Bermudians, but any resident. There's a lot of people living and working here in Bermuda who are generating wealth in Bermuda, but they're unable to invest that or have limits to how they can invest that within our economy. We would like to open that up by definition and still allow the minister maintain the exemptions for capital that has no residency here per se to come in. However, the broadening of the 60 category from just Bermudians to all residents kind of needs to go hand in hand with other mechanisms to anchor our long-term wealth and job creators to the island, such as a pathway to status mechanism.
And you can join Gary on Tuesday night on Let's Talk when Mr. Camp will be his guest. We'll have more news for you after this short break, including the latest forecast from AccuWeather headquarters. Stay tuned.
You can count on us.
Avocados, hot price, 2 for $3. Fresh Purdue Oven Stuffer Roaster, $1.99 per pound. Kreider 18-pack large white eggs, hot price for $2.95. Hunt's Tomato Ketchup, 35-ounce squeeze bottle for $2.99. Charmin Essential Strong Toilet Tissue, 1 roll, hot price $1.19. All stores open Monday through Saturday until 10 p.m. and Sunday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. for your shopping convenience.
You can count on us.
At Argus, our interest is you. Each of you. Around here, we know that when two people seem the same, they can have very different insurance needs. For their health, home, work, and future. Which is why we take the time to get to know you as an individual, so we can provide insurance coverage that fits your life. Because after all, our interest is you.
Welcome back. The Progressive Labour Party government has taken the first steps to make sweeping reforms to the island's 2 municipalities. The Home Affairs Minister Walter Urban today tabled a bill in the House of Assembly entitled the Municipalities Reformed Act 2019, which, among other measures, would repeal elections in the corporations of Hamilton and St. George and continue these bodies as quangos. Speaking to our Gary Moreno outside of the chamber today, Mr. Urban refuted claims that government had failed to engage stakeholders in consultation.
The consultation has been going on since last year, March, when we tabled the bill which suspended the elections for the corporations. So for over a year now, there has been consultation with a variety of stakeholders. When I took responsibility for municipalities, I then continued consultations around what we're doing with the unions, with different interest groups here in the corporation. I've met with the mayors, I've met with the respective councils. And we purposely made sure that our policy and vision was published so that the whole community had opportunity to share their views. So I do believe that's a very comprehensive process of consultation. This process will continue. We did table legislation today, but discussions with the community, as you know, we're having 2 town halls next week, one on Tuesday and one on Thursday. So the process of discussion about what we are interested in doing is continuing. That hasn't stopped just because legislation has been tabled.
But based on what you said in the House this morning, again, it appears that the die is already cast.
Well, the road and journey to rejuvenation and a change in the both municipality is cast. There was never not going to be a step towards reform. Reform, if reform is a die, yes, that die has been cast. And we have been consistent with our call for reform, and so we're pushing that process forward. But we intend to work with both communities in Hamilton and St. George in this process.
And Mr. Robin added Bermuda was just too small for two levels of government.
That is not the way you address issues that are clearly what Hamilton and St. George's have as to how they're shaped going forward for the 21st century. That's a 17th century, 18th century, 19th century approach. We want to take a 21st century approach that will ensure economic opportunity, rejuvenation of both respective areas.
But what will the corporations look like once this process is completed? Will there still be a mayor? Will there still be councillors?
Yes. Yes. As I outlined in my statement, we will still have mayors, we will still have councillors.
But I think you also you also declared in your statement that the mayors are going to be actually appointed by government, people who, again, quote unquote, support the government's view of how the corporation should operate. So will these be political appointments?
They will appointments that will be in the best interest of the government's interest, but also of forwarding the plans that we believe are the best for both St. George's and for Hamilton. This is not a case of us trying to take away. We want to ensure more because, for one, Hamilton and St. George's, as we said, are the lifeblood of the country. Hamilton is a commercial center. Everybody in the country benefits from Hamilton. But Hamilton can be better. St. George's is a special place that has it's a living, breathing town. The people who live there need more.
Turning to weather news now. Well, what a difference a day makes. Today was absolutely gorgeous. Let's go to AccuWeather headquarters for our weekend weather update.
AccuWeather is presented by BF&M Insurance Group. We now go to AccuWeather headquarters.
The BF&M Insurance Group is pleased to bring you tonight's AccuWeather forecast. I'm meteorologist Brittany Boyer, and we've made it to the weekend, and hopefully you guys have had a great day today. It is officially the first day of March. And it looks like we might be starting things off on a soggy note here. Now, as we head into tonight, we had a frontal boundary that moved through our area. Well, the front is essentially going to be working its way back toward us, so we are going to be looking at some additional spotty showers as we head into tonight. Looks like our best chance for steadier rain is going to come next week. We'll get to that in just a moment. Temperatures right now over the island sitting in the upper 60s, so not too bad temperature-wise here, and our humidity between 75 and 80%. We have the winds fairly light today out of the east-southeast, anywhere from 5 to 10 knots. The water's currently at 67 degrees. Waves inside of the reef up to about 2 feet, so relatively calm conditions there. Outside of the reef, we are looking at waves between 3 and 6 feet. Now, things will get a little bit more choppy as we head into tomorrow. There is a small craft warning from Saturday morning into Saturday evening, so heads up if that will impact your schedule for tomorrow. We have our low tide coming in at 11:13 tonight, and then our high tide kicking things off on Saturday morning at 5:46 in the morning. So we'll have that frontal boundary working its way back into our area for tonight. Temperatures are going to be in the low 60s, not too bad temperature-wise here, and we will be under partly cloudy skies and will allow for a couple of showers in spots. Tomorrow, however, looks like a beautiful day. Temperatures get into the low 70s, so slightly above average for this time of the year, with a low of 65 degrees for tomorrow night. Now, let's talk about when we could see a bit more in the way of precipitation here with our future cast. We are going to have a frontal boundary once again moving its way through the area as we head into Saturday night. And then we have to keep our eye on this disturbance that's going to be impacting the East Coast with heavy rain and also some heavy snow. It looks like that storm, as it moves to our north and east, will have a trailing cold front, and that will give us another opportunity for some rain as we head into early next week. So Now, we say the expression March comes in like a lion. Well, for us here in Bermuda, it looks like March is coming in on a rainy note, at least for the start of it. And speaking of wet conditions, you can see that's also the case here for Jamaica. It's 84 degrees right now. Lots of clouds around Barbados and Trinidad, and also some scattered showers as well. So it's not just us that's going to be dealing with the unsettled weather. If you're doing any traveling here, we're going to have quite a bit of snow in Boston into tomorrow morning. Even New York City could see some rain and snow before temperatures warm up. Your extended forecast here Saturday, a beautiful day. Saturday night into Sunday, that's when we'll have some scattered showers. Temperatures stay in the low 70s, so feeling pretty nice. But then we have to watch out for our next opportunity for some steadier rain as we get into Monday night, Tuesday, and also Wednesday.
AccuWeather was presented by BF&M Insurance Group.
My name is Kevin Roberts. I'm a taxi driver / ambassador. My father's with BF&M, so am I. Half of my family always seemed to be with Bermuda Fire Marine. I tried a different provider at one time, but I wasn't too happy with the competition. Because back then it took too long to settle claims. They questioned every claim, and I never really had that problem with BF&M. I'm quite happy with it.
And this is Taking Off. Skyport is the new sponsor of the former Telford Electric Magic Mile, now called Skyport Magic Mile. The event in its 24th year was held on Saturday, February 23rd at the National Sports Center, featuring hundreds of eager young runners. Bermuda Pacers Track Club organized a seamless event which saw 500 runners aged 4 to 15 years old participating in their respective age groups. Parents, family members, and friends were on hand to cheer the athletes over the course of the day. The purpose of the Skyport Magic Mile is to promote, ignite, and capture the interest of running in our children and to allow the schools to showcase their athletes while enabling Bermuda Pacers Track Club to identify and work with those promising youngsters who want to compete further in track and field. Skyport is pleased to be the new sponsors of this incredible event that has excited Bermuda's young athletes for more than 2 decades, as it fits in with our focus on investing in Bermuda's youth through education, sports, and the arts. Look out for it again next year. See you next time.
And you're watching the Friday edition of Bermuda Tonight. The Gaming Commission appears to be existing in name only, but a number of changes to the organization were announced today by Finance Minister Curtis Dickinson. He spoke with our Gary Moreno.
I assume responsibility for the Gaming Commission effective the 2nd of November. They've been busy doing their work. The fundamental issue with gaming has been around correspondent banking, and it's been a particular challenge. The Commission continues to work through it. I have some familiarity with the issue in light of my time spent at Butterfield when I was actually working with them on this issue, and so I know that it is a real concern. It is something that is not just plaguing Bermuda, but plaguing Caribbean islands throughout the region. They are continuing to work on regulations and on expanding the scope of their regime to include betting shops.
Now, the betting shops being brought under the Gaming Commission, it was thought that that was only set up for the casino aspect of things.
No, the remit of the Gaming Commission has been expanded to include betting shops as well.
What is the reason for that?
To basically regulate gaming in Bermuda, and gaming extends beyond the concept of a casino.
Has there been any discussion with the betting shop operators on this?
That would be a conversation, a question best posed to the Bermuda Casino Gaming Commission. As you're aware, it is an independent body, and I have oversight, and I lead the day-to-day operations to them to conduct on their own.
Coming back to the Commission, as I mentioned, it seemed to be operating in name only. There were several, I think, shifting around of staff, one person being made redundant. What is being done to address that situation?
Well, the Commission has been without an executive director since I think the last one announced his resignation on the 17th of July in 2017. There have been a couple of recruitment exercises that have gone on, as I mentioned in my statement. We're commenced another one, this time using the services of a headhunter, and hopefully we will have a more fruitful outcome than the prior 3. But the organization has been continuing to work, doing their work, and albeit quietly and judiciously.
Surface Trends is proud to offer Bermuda's best selection of natural and exotic stone, carefully selected and imported from Italy and Brazil. We also stock the newest collection from Caesar stone and silestone. Don't forget our wide variety of gorgeous porcelain wood plank tiles, including our exclusive Bermuda cedar tile, as well as natural travertines suitable for outdoors and indoors. Bathroom and pool tiles are in stock too. Stop by our showroom at 17 Serpentine Road, Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturday from 9 a.m. to 1.
Toyota commercial vehicles from Bermuda Motors are the smart business choice. They're fuel efficient, durable, and provide exceptional performance. Bermuda Motors maintains an inventory of Toyota genuine parts and has Toyota factory-trained technicians. So don't risk buying a second-hand or gray market truck from someone you don't know. Whether you run a large fleet or single commercial vehicle, choose Toyota from Bermuda Motors, the smart business choice.
30 people took part in a peaceful gathering on Parliament Hill to highlight what has been dubbed inadequate punishment for sex offenders. Mike Sharp reports.
The Advocates for Change called on participants to seek answers from their MPs. One startling statistic from SCARS says 1 in 3 Bermuda residents suffered sexual abuse before the age of 18. Premier David Burt, flanked by MPs, said there will be further discussions on the punishment of sex offenders.
Today is an example of not only why we live in a democracy, an example of how we live in a democracy and the importance of the people's voice. Ms. Winnie Crockwell has organized a gathering to express her concern about things inside of our community. This is a government that will listen. I had discussed with Ms. Crockwell about the things that this government has already done thus far in office, but what she's saying is she feels that more needs to be done. I've encouraged her to make sure that the petition that she's looking to put together, that petition can be submitted to Parliament. I've ensured her that there will be a debate upon that petition if it's submitted to Parliament, so they can get the opinion of the House, and we can look if there's any further changes and strengthening to our legislation which is necessary. So this is an important part of democracy. This is the government that will listen, and I appreciate your efforts. I applaud your efforts, and we as a community, we must work to make sure that we protect all the persons inside of our community. I have family members here who've spoken to me, who've talked about their past experiences, the challenge which they have, how their lives have been irreparably damaged, and we have to make sure that we put in place more protections in this area. So I support your efforts, and we're going to continue to look to make sure that our regime is strengthened in Bermuda.
Organizer Winnie Crockwell suggested we need more dialogue with members of Parliament on important issues.
If I can just add, I want to thank everyone who came out today. If you read anything about this protest, it was actually just for members of the public to come and talk to our elected officials, because these are the people that represent us and they have a power that we don't. And so I just want to encourage everyone to have more of this dialogue with their MPs. As you can see today, they were very approachable. They listened to me. I'm sure they listened to you. And I'm looking forward to this model of protest being done more, because it's more efficient, and I think from today, and we'll see going forward, that is more effective.
Former MP Suzanne Roberts-Holshouser said the 5-year sentence for David Miners was inadequate because he can be released in 2 years.
The reality of it is I don't believe that we understand truthfully what a pedophile is, to accept the fact that I've had sexual relations or I've interfered with a child, and I do mean a child by our laws and regulations. That doesn't change and that doesn't waver. And if you accept the fact that being a pedophile or being pedophilia is a disease and it cannot be cured, what are the steps that have been put into place? I.e., is 2 years long enough for this particular victim, or any, not victim, but this particular pedophile or perpetrator, is 2 years long enough for them to actually understand and go through a program that's going to be able to help them.
And I'm Mike Sharp with Bermuda Broadcasting News.
Thanks, Mike. Coming up, Earl Basin with the latest from the world of sports. Stay with us.
You can count on us.
Your choice, peaches, plums, or nectarines, only $2.99 per pound. Fresh USDA bone-in strip steak, $14.99 per pound. Schmidt Italian sliced bread, 20-ounce loaf, hot price $4.39. Scott paper towels, choose a size roll, $2.59. Save $1.60 on Purex liquid laundry detergent, 50-ounce bottle, hot price $4.99. All stores open Monday through Saturday until 10 p.m. and Sunday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. for your shopping convenience.
You can count on us.
At the Bermuda Festival, we're bringing the classics to life in 2019 between March 5th and 9th. From New York, the Frazan Ensemble features the brightest of classical music's rising stars drawn from major music schools including Juilliard and Yale. Terrence McNally's play Masterclass portrays Broadway and film actress Catherine Cates as opera diva Maria Callas. For tickets, visit PTix or BermudaFestival.org. Celebrating the empowerment of women, She is Art, 44th Annual Bermuda Festival.
Turning to sports, a young Bermudian cyclist sits 83rd place in the Dominican Republic, and a swimmer wins medals in swimming championships. Earl Basin has tonight's sports report.
Caden Hopkins competed in Stage 3 of the International cycling event going on in the Dominican Republic. Hopkins would finish 107th in a large group of riders who were clocked across the line in a time of 3 hours, 10 minutes, and 46 seconds. Hopkins is now 83rd overall with a time of 9 hours, 12 minutes, and 27 seconds, some 8 minutes and 27 seconds behind the overall leader. Meanwhile, Gabriella Arnold from Marian University and Caden Hopkins from Fort Lewis College were named to the USA Cycling Fall 2018 class of collegiate academic All-Stars. The Bermuda Professional Golf Association's championships got underway at the Tuckers Point Club in some challenging conditions. Scott Roy and Chaka De Silva lead the way with equal rounds of 2 over par 72. Tuckers Point professional Paul Adams is in third place with a solid round of 6 over par 76, while Dwayne Pearman is in fourth after a round of 9 over par 79. Clarky Trott currently holds the fifth position after his first round of 10 over par 80. Brian Morris and Kamiko Smith are tied sixth after rounds of 11 over par 81. Shaquille Dill and Dage Miners competed in the Boston University Last Chance Invitational Indoor Track Meet. Taken to the track for the men's open 800 meters, Dill would finish second in a time of 1:49.69, while Miners would finish fourth in a time of 1:50.04. Madeline Moore and her Northern Colorado swimming and diving teammates got out to a great start during the WAC Championships. At the end of the day, they currently sit in second place with 209.5 points. Things started off well for the 200-yard medley relay team that included Moore, setting a school record, clocking a winning time of 1:40.66. The women's 200-yard freestyle relay team that also included Moore clocked a winning time of 1:31.32 to claim their second gold medal of the event. Moore would then share the gold medal in the women's 50-yard freestyle final, collecting her third of the championships in a dead tie for first place with Northern Arizona's Alice Rodriguez. They were both clocked at 22:71. The Bermuda Buccaneers Rugby Stevens Select Tour in honor of Adrian Hassel began competing in the Las Vegas Sevens tournament. In typical Buccaneers fashion, the boys started a bit slow. In the first game, it went down 29-5, with the Buccaneers getting their lone try from Janico Francis. The second game saw the Buccaneers on fire. They would attack up the middle to jump out to an early 3-try lead with Macau Dill, Antonio Parentchief, and Simeon Edwards all going over. Parentchief would score the lone try for Bermuda in the second half, with the Buccaneers winning by 2 points. The final game of the day for the Buccaneers wasn't even close, as they got tries from Radruel Dill, Edwards, Avery Williams, Nadayav Williams, and Francis in a 29-0 win. David Leader is a member of the Adelphi University men's tennis team that dropped its spring opener 7-0 to Long Island rivals NYIT in a match that was rescheduled from February 12th due to inclement weather. Leader, playing in the number 6 single spot, went down in straight sets 7-5, 6-love. John Lejour concluded competing in the NORAM Cup Men's Moguls event in Colorado. Competing in the dual moguls, Lejour finished 35th with a score of 74.44. Bermuda International Zico Lewis helped guide the Charleston Battery to a 4-0 preseason win over Coastal Carolina. Lewis would get things started in the 4th minute with a shot that flew past the keeper to make it 1-0. With the Battery already ahead 3-0, Lewis would make it 4-0 with 3 minutes remaining, scoring with a header from across. This weekend in Bermuda Football Association Premier Division action, we'll see the top of the table clash on Sunday between league leaders PHC Zebras and second place Robin Hood, taking place at the BAA Field with a kickoff time of 6:30 p.m. Also this weekend in Premier Division action, it will see BAA host North Village Rams at the BAA Field on Saturday night at 9 p.m. And on Sunday, the Boulevard Blazers will entertain the Dandytown Hornets at Lords and St. David's, while Crossroads are at the Garrison Field to take on Devonshire Cougars. Paget Lions will entertain the Somerset Trojans at Southampton Oval, with those 3 games kicking off at 3 p.m. There are 5 First Division matches slated to kick off on Sunday at 12:30. Young Men Social Club are at the Police Field entertaining Devonshire Colts. St. George's Colts will take on Wolves at the Wellington Oval. Island Rangers will entertain Flanagan's at Malabar, while Southampton Rangers will take on Vasco at Southampton Oval. And St. David's are at Lords to entertain the Somerset Eagles. I'm Earl Baisden with Bermuda Broadcasting Sports.
Thanks, Earl. That's our newscast for tonight. I'm Diane Brewer. Thanks for sharing your Friday evening with us, everyone. Good night.